Hi everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. I'm here with your Week 8 agenda and your Week 8 expectations. We are going to be continuing to use literary lenses to help support our literary understanding of different short stories. This is going to include the gender lens, the psychological lens, the new critical lens, and the classist lens. So students are also going to be learning this week about another genre in the short story units that we are going to be covering. So we're going to start moving away from science fiction technology, and we are going to be moving into horror. So in that genre, sometimes high fantasy and science fiction overlap, and they often include a high level of increased tension. However, the stories that we are going to be looking at in the horror genre are also going to include different types of monsters. So we are going to be looking at the different types of monsters and how they function in moving the plot forward and creating a greater depth in the horror genre. Students will need to know the different literary terms for the literary lenses as well for the different monster types, and they're going to need to be able to identify the different literary elements in the plot along with the different types of monsters and how they improve the story in general. So you're going to be able to identify characters based on plot moments, reference characters by name, identify and analyze characters with bias and empathy using literary lenses and analysis. Essential questions are: how can literary elements be analyzed through a specific lens to create meaning, and how can characters be broken down to fit a deeper, more complex purpose? So if we go on to Schoology and we look in our Week 8 folder on Schoology, we are going to be starting off with the Activity 1 folder. These are our notes for what makes a monster and the different types of monsters found in the horror genre. So it is essential that you watch that Edpuzzle first, so that way you can best understand the stories that we are going to start to read in this unit. In this Edpuzzle, I do give a sneak peek as to what you'll be doing in the red folder that says Monster Research Slides. So just keep in mind that that is at the end of the notes. However, I need you to watch the monster research directions and examples to get a greater understanding of what you're doing for that assignment. So you cannot just watch this Edpuzzle and think that that is the directions. You must watch this direction video to best understand along with the rubric and the directions. And then when you have completed your monster research slides assignment, you are putting your shareable Google link in this discussion, so that way other students can also view it. You will also you're going to follow the directions in the rubric and the directions video. You're going to create a Google Slides presentation researching a monster of your choice, either from the list below or upon approval. So I just give you a couple different options. However, there are lots and lots and lots of monsters that are very prolific in this genre. So you can send me an email and say that there is a specific one that you want to do. That is perfectly fine. I'm just asking that you do so that way we are all on the same page. You're going to create your project, and then you are going to record your presentation using the Schoology recording device and post your recording along with the shareable link to your slides in the discussion below. So hopefully we all remember how to create the recording. If you go and try to write the comment, you have the option to open up the recorder and you would record your presentation of the project. And then you are going to view and comment on one other student's project. So that is the monster research project assignment as far as like the basic outline. Make sure you watch the directions video to better understand the expectations for the project. Alrighty, as far as creative writing, we have 4 different creative writing options for Week 8. You can write a story about 2 strangers chatting while waiting for something. So maybe like in a coffee shop or at a gas station. You can write a story about an average day turned upside down by an unexpected visitor. You can write a story about someone who discovers a mysterious object in their home. Or write a story featuring an animal who subverts expectations, like a snuggly tiger, or something more magical like a literal fish out of water. It's just up to you what you would want to do for that one. As far as the weekly writing competition website, that is still going on online. So if you would like to participate in that, you can go ahead and do so, and then just copy and paste your writing competition entry in this weekly writing document. Alrighty, activity 2, we are going to be starting our first horror short story in this unit. We are going to be reading Night Crawlers by Robert McCammon. Here's the PDF for Night Crawlers, and then here is the Ed puzzle for part 1 of Night Crawlers. We then have part 2 of Night Crawlers and a discussion post. For part 2, the discussion is, what is your interpretation of the short story Night Crawlers from a literary lens perspective? So new critical, gender, classist, or psychological, you have your choice of whichever one you would like to analyze the story through. What elements of the story do you see in connection to the lens that support your interpretation? So you're going to use 3 examples from the story to support your interpretation of Night Crawlers through a literary lens of choice. This is a minimum of 15 sentences, and you're going to comment on one other student's discussion post about this interpretation of the story. Activity 4, we have part 3 of Night Crawlers and the part 3 discussion. Part 3's discussion is what form of monster, or a combination of the 3. So, spoiler alert, there's 3 different types of monsters. Do you believe is occurring within the short story Night Crawlers? Explain your reasoning using evidence from the text. So you should use 3 examples from the story to support your interpretation of the monster or monsters in Night Crawlers. And that would be a minimum of 15 sentences. And then you're going to comment on one other student's discussion post. As far as the examples, maybe you think it's a combination, or maybe you think it's specifically one form of monster, so just make sure that you explain your interpretation of the story. And then lastly, in the purple folder, we have our silent reading reflection for week 8. And we are reflecting on tension in whatever story you are currently reading. Remember, you should be silently reading 15 minutes every day, and it should be some kind of literary option of your choice, whether that's a comic book, a book on Sora, a newspaper, an online news article, but you are finding some kind of silent reading option of your choice. That should not be one of the assigned readings from this class. How does the author of your silent reading create tension and keep you engaged as a reader? What literary elements does the author of your silent reading story use well? So we are just analyzing the author's writing style and giving some feedback in this discussion. You're going to comment on one other student's discussion post about what they are currently reading. And those are all of our assignments for week 8. If you have any questions about any of these assignments, or if you have questions about the monster research project and the directions, please make sure that you contact me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Or if for some reason you aren't sure what you want to do, please contact me. I'd be happy to talk about it with you. Alrighty guys, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!